everyone, and welcome back to the Sweetie Nail Supply channel. Today we are continuing the Nails at Home series. This time we will be going over 3 different nail designs using various beginner techniques. The first design will feature hand-painted layered flowers, starting with the doughy nudie pink color. We are going to paint on 2 layers. This look can be done with any sort of syrup gel, it just needs to have a slight transparency to it. You might also consider using a jelly gel. As you paint, just make sure to use a nice even coat, and then if you do get any on your skin, please immediately wipe it away with acetone. Once you've applied and cured your 2 coats, achieving this look is really simple if you have a pointed nail art brush. Something like the drop brush from Mayo works perfectly fine, it just needs to have a nice point but a thicker base. And then for the paint, I will be using the D-Gel paint pot in white. It has a really thick consistency and is very opaque, something that is necessary for this sort of design. To load your brush, you just want to dip it into the paint and then wipe away some of that excess on a palette. You don't want your brush too loaded with paint for this, you just want a little bit of extra on the tip as shown here. And then painting the petals is super easy with this kind of tool. You want to angle your brush almost perpendicular to the nail, and then push down to create that rounded edge of the petal, and then pull away as you get to the center of the flower to create the thinner portion where they all connect. Once you're happy with the flowers, you want to paint on another layer of that doughy nudie pink. I've actually painted on 2 layers to just sort of mute that white color even more. The effect is that it makes these flowers look like they are in shadow, like they are farther away. Once you're happy with the coverage, cure that and then paint on a second layer of petals and flowers. This time you don't want it directly overlapping the flowers below. You want some of those in the background to peek through, and I would also recommend painting the top layer of flowers slightly smaller than the ones behind. The overall look may appear complex, but really this is a great intro design for those just getting into hand-painted art. Once I'm done with the flowers, I'm just adding another coat of that doughy nudie pink, just to add opacity to the rest of the nails, and then I'm topping everything with the Yogo Zombie Top Gel. This is a thick, glossy top coat that will just smooth out any brush strokes that you may have created when hand painting the flowers. And this is the final look. Overall, it's a relatively simple design that uses minimal products to achieve something that looks refined and much more advanced. For the next design, we will be working with some magnetic gels, but first I'm laying down a base color of the By Muse Lavender from the Fairy Tale collection. Since I will be using a cat eye gel from Diva that has a syrup gel base, applying a layer of a matching color under the cat eye gel will just help amp up the vibrancy of that color. This gel from By Muse is the perfect choice because it has really even color payoff, so I'm applying 1 layer to every nail before curing. And then I'm going to be using DM31 from Divox White Night collection. This is a gorgeous set of iridescent, colorful cat eye gels. This shade in particular is a nice cool toned purple with teal and green sparkles in it, and I'm applying a pretty thick coat over the entire nail, and then using the bar magnet included in each set to bring the particles to the edge of the nail in this beveled effect. Once all of the particles are concentrated on the edge, I'm taking the magnet and holding it parallel to the nail, and then twisting the free end side up until you see those particles form a nice curved wave across the nail. Once you're happy with the shape, go ahead and cure and repeat those steps on all of the other nails. Bring all of the particles to the edge, hold the magnet parallel, and then twist that free end up towards yourself to create that nice curve. This design and magnetic gels in general can be a little tricky to work with, so just remember to practice and don't get frustrated. You can always start over if you're not happy with the look by just painting over the nail before curing anything. Once you are done with the cat eye polish, wipe away the inhibition layer, and then I'm going in with the Mayo glass top just to add a thin protective layer to seal in that design. Since we are doing some 3D swirls with a non-wipe gel, you want to seal in your design first, and we are going to use the Jinbei Crazy Top Thick for our swirls. And then you need a liner brush. This one here is the Sweetie Nail Supply Liner 1, and you want to take that brush and dip it straight into the pot and pull it out and allow a bead to gather at the end you can sort of roll the brush around to ensure that the gel doesn't fall, and then apply that to where you want the rounded end of the swirl to be. Wiggling the brush just helps distribute the polish, and then drag your brush in the pattern you would like, and you have your swirl. To add thickness, you can always go in with another layer. I do recommend that you flash cure each swirl as you go, just to make sure that they maintain their shape if you're happy with how they look. I am just following that sort of curved line I created with the magnetic gel on the thumb and on the ring finger. And then the last step is to add a few little bubbles by just swirling some of that gel in a circle, and you have a nice juicy 3D look. Playing around with clear 3D textures on top of cat eye gels is the perfect way to bring out their shine and dimension, especially if you use it to accentuate a pattern that you created using those magnetic gels. And last but not least, let's talk about charms and chains. For this set, I'm using number 58 from Yogurt Nail Korea, Sky Chew from the Bunny Chew collection. It is a really nice icy blue, perfect for the upcoming winter months. I'm applying not 1 but 3 layers of this polish, curing between each layer to create a nice base for the charms. In order to get up close to that cuticle, you can always go in with a liner brush. This is that Sweetie Nail Supply liner number 1. And once every nail is coated, go ahead and give it a full cure. And here's what we're working with as a base color for all of our charms. As a centerpiece, I will be focusing on these 2 metallic bows, using the Jin B Clear Fix Gel to attach them. This product simplifies the job of attaching larger charms because you can just dip them into the gel itself and then apply them directly to the nail. The thicker viscosity means it will hold those charms in place. Even these larger metal ones here don't move around too much. If you have excess, you can just wipe it away with a brush before curing. I like to do last minute adjustments to the placement before flash curing with the Diami pin cure lamp. This just holds it in place while I apply all of the other charms around it. For the middle finger, I'm just applying the smaller bow in the same method, dipping it into the gel, positioning it, wiping away any excess, and then flash curing. For the chain decoration, we will be using the Nail Bio chain set, starting with these little crystals here. These are actually so handy because even though they are connected, you can cut them apart with some sort of old cuticle nipper or jewelry plier. I'll be attaching them by just taking some of that fix gel on a liner brush and placing it on the nail where I'd like to attach my charms. And then it's easy enough to just pick up those single crystals with some tweezers and place it for a nice, dainty, sparkly addition. Adding some acrylic pearls, I'm creating sort of a chain that wraps around this nail. And then of course some silver caviar beads just complete the chain and bring the whole look together. If you do have gapping under some of the larger charms like this, it can create snagging in your hair or in your clothes, so we recommend just taking some extra fix gel on a liner brush and filling in those gaps before fully curing everything to seal in that charm completely. For the middle finger, I'm adding the chain detail by first outlining where I want it to be and then taking the chain and dipping it straight into that fix gel just to help coat it. This means that it won't be sliding around your nail when you go to actually place it. Lay it down on the nail, and because that gel is so thick, it shouldn't fall off and you can guide it into place before flash curing it. And then to the excess, just clip it off with some jewelry pliers or old cuticle nippers. Please do not use any nippers on your cuticles after cutting metal, as they can be duller and then tear your skin rather than cut it. And I'm just adding some final little embellishments on the ring finger to pull the look together. Last step is to top coat it again with that zombie top. The thicker consistency here just flows over the charms well and evens out the surface. And that is the nail look. After thoroughly washing your hands to avoid any sort of residue, we do recommend to apply a cuticle oil after finishing a nail design to ensure that your cuticles stay nice and nourished and healthy. This is the QRA All-in-One Cuticle Care Oil. And that is the third finished design and the end of this video. All of the products we used will be linked down below. Please join us next time for how to remove Gel X applications at home. And thank you so much for watching.